Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Flappy for the Nintendo Famicom. In this 1985 action puzzler from DB Soft, you play as a yellow creature named Flappy, sole survivor from the alien invasion of Blue Star, whose inhabitants chose to blow up their own planet rather than fight a war. Which is a distressing backstory for a cute little puzzle game. But I think the implication here is that recovering the stone fragments of Blue Star will restore the planet, maybe? Unless I'm projecting some unwarranted optimism on this game. Anyway, the objective of Flappy is pretty simple. Complete 200 single-screen levels by getting the blue rock onto the blue platform. And how do you do that? Well, by wrapping your head around some conflicting physics. See, Flappy can move freely in all directions, as if the playfield was a top-down situation, but the rocks always fall with gravity, as if the playfield was a side-view situation. So either Flappy is immune to the forces of nature, or rocks really like the southern border of the screen. Either way, the trick is to use brown rocks and brick blocks, try saying that 5 times fast, to transport the blue stone to its pedestal. And since you can only move rocks by pushing them from behind, this means strategically creating and moving stacks in half-step increments, making stairs, and destroying rocks in the right sequence to progress. While the blue stone is indestructible, the brown ones will break if you push them against walls or enemies or other rocks, which can make the difference between great success and utter failure in your puzzling schemes. Oh, and you've got to execute said schemes without running into unicorns or crabs, which kill you on contact. Unicorns move back and forth randomly in a linear path, while crabs wander freely through the playfield. But they both tend to chase you down as soon as you're in their line of sight. Luckily, you can pick up and throw mushrooms to put those pesky unicorns and crabs to sleep, if only temporarily. But while they're napping, you're free to push them around the playfield and drop rocks on them, because dropping a rock on an enemy permanently destroys it. Brutal, but effective. Just look at those cartoony crab eyes bulge out of their sockets as this poor critter is trash compacted to oblivion. Oof. Of course, dropping a rock on yourself does the same thing, so be careful with your maneuvers. Especially when you need to use enemies to redirect rocks in the late game. Which, to be honest, is the one mechanic in Flappy that bothers me, because it isn't self-evident like the other solving strategies. See, you wouldn't necessarily expect the enemies to work like platforms, but if you get the timing just right and push a block as it's squishing a crab or unicorn, you can actually shift it forward one space before it drops down. I think this would be cool as a sort of secret trick, but some levels can't be beaten without it, which is frustrating. Especially level 190, where you need to push a rock over a crab positioned perfectly between 2 spaces in order to finish the puzzle. I needed to cheat pretty hard on that one, saving my progress step by step and making countless attempts until I did it right. Which brings me to my biggest problem with Flappy, how the challenge level is aggravated by the stock and password system. For the most part, the puzzles here are manageable with enough trial and error and critical thinking, but the game only gives you a few lives to complete them, and even the passwords you get after every bonus stage set you back at least 1 to 5 levels. Personally, I cheated my way around these problems by bookmarking every new puzzle with save states, and even bookmarking each step for the more technical ones, but honestly, I think that's how puzzle games should work anyway. The most novel aspect of Flappy is the bonus stages after every 5 levels. Here, you just try to clear the field of unicorns and crabs by bumping into them before the timer runs out. Which feels counterintuitive to the puzzle stages where you explicitly try to, well, run away from the unicorns and crabs, but it's fun, so I don't care about the backwards logic. Especially since my instinct is to gravitate toward those adorable little unicorns. I mean, all the graphics in this game are charming and simple, but those cute, googly-eyed sock puppet unicorns are objectively the greatest 8-bit character sprites ever. And the Flappy sprite itself isn't too far behind. The sound design here is equally simple and charming. There may only be one chiptune track for the standard stages, plus an 8-bit rendition of that old-timey parade tune for the bonus stages, but they're fun and upbeat. Plus, the sound cues benefit from leaning more into the realm of arcadey beeps and boops to really sell that whimsical factor. My favorite part of Flappy is how it mixes up the style of puzzles as you go. A few easy ones to offset a few tough ones, and a few action-oriented ones to offset those real brain flexors. Keeps things from being too grueling, especially for a game with 200 puzzles. But that only applies if you play with save states like me. It would definitely be a grueling experience using only the provided lives and passwords, so that's the only thing I'd change about this game. Overall, Flappy is definitely a worthwhile game. It manages to stretch a lot of variety out of just a single style of puzzle and a small handful of mechanics. So here's hoping the effort can restore our little yellow critter's Blue Star planet, even if it means squishing a few hundred adorable sock puppet unicorns along the way.